Have you ever watched a Vox video and thought that they made a good point, or really any point, or maybe it was even a good point, but it wasn't the point that they were trying to make, which brings us to this week's or this month's Vox Rebuttal.
Herboo Vox.
No! No hay Vox!
Sí.
No hay
Herboo Vox.
I'm about to feel stupid. There's a story that was being told about.
The context here, before we get to the exact Vox video on the Green New Deal, which is not worthwhile, but we'll actually show it to you in its entirety at the end of this rebuttal at, I think, 8 times speed. Just so you know we're not lying to you. Nothing up my sleeve. I think I picked the wrong hat because in the hat was Vox. But yesterday, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the Green New Deal failed miserably. Okay, not a single yes vote. And the Congresswoman hit back against critics of the bill. And in following Vox's example, we actually wanted to include the most factually pertinent statements from her address, as well as the entirety of their context.
1 year ago, I was waitressing in a taco shop in downtown Manhattan. I'm going to turn 30 this year. People are dying. I just got health insurance for the first time a month ago. I don't know what we're here doing.
I know it's easy to laugh now, but and it is. It's very easy to laugh now. But I can't help but think of what just might happen if we're wrong. Skynet, we didn't know. We just didn't know.
Right there.
Let's address the complaint right off the bat. People are saying, oh, you know, to have a vote on it without a hearing before, it's a political stunt. I don't know, kind of like a political stunt to propose a bill that takes over roughly 70 to 90% of the American economy. One could say that is a political stunt as well. So, you know what? Tit for tat. Let's go on that one. So now let's take a look at Vox's explanation of why we all misunderstood this poor victimized bill. This is how they describe it. Now, what I expected from this video from Vox, given the title, was a step-by-step explanation of the contents in the bill. But as you can see, this is not what we got.
There's a lot of cool stuff in here, but I am not an energy policy expert, so I have questions. How would these ideas work in practice? How quickly could we get them done? Are they enough to avoid the impending heat death of the planet? So to find the answers, I did what every American does when they want to know more about public policy. I tried to watch the news.
He tried to smoke a pen. What the hell?
Well, no, come on. That's him trying to be funny. So he's talking about watching...
Failing to be funny.
So, here, hold on a second. Does anyone else knows this? What do you mean? You're talking about how people aren't looking into the bill. You're holding the bill. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure you're holding the bill and 30 extra blank pages. This is the bill. It's a 5-page bill.
5 pages.
This whole video is predicated on the idea that their political opposition are simply doing what they call tactical framing. Let's go.
I have watched hours of segments about the Green New Deal, and none of them actually explained how it might work.
Were they
Instead,
yours?
They focused on the politics. Is it going to pass?
This one.
Does Pelosi like it? What did Trump tweet about it? Everything except, is it a good idea?
Are you concerned the perception of the Democratic Party is going to move too far to the left?
Turns out there's a name for this type of news coverage. It's called
Vox.
Tactical Framing. And it's making us all too cynical to solve big problems before it's too late.
You clearly didn't watch our segment, and you can go watch this, search it on YouTube. We didn't talk about whether it would pass, whether Pelosi liked it. We almost exclusively looked at the content, which honestly was kind of a stretch because there's only 5 pages to work with. We did a 12-minute segment. We actually read the bill and provided a link to our audience with the bill. You're holding the bill, yet still, the whining but no talking about what has actually been written in the bill. Let's see if it happens later in the video.
In the second and third groups, the ones who got tactical framing, the news had activated their cynicism. They were more likely than the first group to say that the candidates were promising things they couldn't deliver or that the situation was hopeless anyway. They were also less likely to remember basic information about the policy proposals,
They were high. It's okay.
even if what they saw included real policy analysis.
I don't understand. Then why are you only, this is one thing that I don't understand with Vox. Why are you only focusing on tactics? Do you notice that he's talking about tactical framing?
Yeah.
And all you do is focus on tech. You're just repeating the cycle. You're giving your own framing in this very segment. Instead of addressing the content and you're allegedly holding the bill, you just try to frame it in a different way. The poor Green New Deal is a great deal. It's just been covered poorly. It's this classic leftist victim mentality, but applied to a piece of legislation now, apparently. Apparently, bills deserve victimhood. The bill in Schoolhouse Rock is just a tranny with a tube of lipstick.
That's very true. Yeah, he's not doing any justice to what he's trying to argue here.
But we're spending 10 minutes. You're pointing out a problem for 10 minutes. This is what John Oliver does. We talk about this quite a bit. You could spend that time helping to fix it, at least informing people. You're not presenting the actual bill. You're not even telling people where to go find the bill. Of course, it's almost as though this video, Vox, is the opposite of that. And it's almost as though that's the approach of the entire leftist establishment. Here, it's like, okay, step one, hold up papers, which are clearly not the actual bill. Step two, watch old news clips of Brian Stelter, I guess, about the bill. Step three, complain about tactical framing. Step four, blame anyone criticizing the bill as using tactical framing. This whole video, this whole segment is tactical framing. There is nothing else. You could, if you opened up the bill, Vox, okay? And this is so important because you hear people on CNN, people like Vox trying to tell us about how important they are. Like, we think it's more important than ever, especially when we have a president who might have colluded with Russia. You! How about that? Okay? It wouldn't be hard, Vox or CNN, to just open the bill. Okay? Just if he'd have done just this, just open it and read by reducing the risks posed by climate impact, that would have been more than he did. And reading the bill saying, I can't! It burns!
Paper cut risk. Yeah.
How substantial does that 5 pages feel in your hand, Stephen? By
the way, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed on YouTube, because subscriptions don't mean anything. Join liveofcutter.com/mugclub or subscribe on iTunes for the audio version. Leave us a rating, because we actually put some work into this here, and you now know where to find the bill, which is more than we can say for the Vox clip. So let's go to the next bit where they start talking about Trump's, quote, bullshit claims. That's how you know it's real news.
It's covered through a partisan lens, so we react through a partisan lens, which makes partisanship the only thing that matters.
It makes us political analysts, it makes us pundits, but it doesn't make us very good voters.
This exact thing happened on Meet the Press a few weekends ago. Trump had tweeted a bullshit claim that the Green New Deal would somehow ban cars, cows, and the military. How would you ban a cow? This would have been a great chance to explain what the Green New Deal actually does, to let voters decide for themselves if upgrading our power grid or modernizing our transportation systems is a good idea. But Chuck Todd wanted to talk about 2020.
Can we do an overlay on 40 times Zoom?
Super pixelated.
What about a hyperlink? No hyperlinks! None! They might read the bill. Someone might have an afternoon 5-minute break and be able to read this. But by the way, Trump was basically right. Turns out. And also, where did they talk about the power grid? I was looking through this bill. I'll do a whole video up. Okay, I guess this is what you can expect to find in the bill. Building or upgrading to energy efficient, distributed, and, quote, smart power grids and ensuring affordable access to electricity. Legally, what happened? You put people on the hook for that. It's like, okay, affordable electricity, go.
What does that even mean?
Figure it out.
Figure it out. Exactly. I mean, they want the American taxpayer to be on the hook for this completely broad, indescribable legislation by their own efforts.
Yeah, it's like saying, I would like a utopia. Make it happen and vote on it.
I don't understand. In any other kind of a contract, if you get hired at McDonald's, it doesn't matter where you're being hired. Think of it. Okay, you're applying for a position. Yes, and what do you expect to be paid? Well, I would like to work any position because I like a lot of variability in my day-to-day.
I was waitressing in a taco shop. People are dying.
Okay, we get it, Cortez. We understand. But what would you do if you're a boss? Like, okay, and how much do you expect to be paid? Everything? Make sure that my life is affordable? What is a living wage?
Exactly.
It doesn't. Why do we have to get bogged down with details?
You're such a corporatist.
Do a 5-page write-up and call it a day. I know. Let's go to the next clip.
Wait, hold on. But what about the people who were dying from the tacos?
It's a problem. You wouldn't jest if you understood the magnitude of it. In 12 years, we will all be dead from tacos. Next clip.
are thinking about their children right now. I'm sorry I'm getting emotional, but this is an emergency in this country. It's an emergency on this planet.
And to teach us what our options might be.
Is the new Green Deal going to solve the problem?
We can't say it's too aspirational. It's the planet.
It's too stupid.
That's a really important conversation. Our planet depends on it, but it's one that gets shut down every time a newsroom decides to focus on tactics.
You just showed nothing but newsrooms. That's all you did. You just did an entire segment explaining to people why they don't understand the Green New Deal without actually mentioning anything in the... Again, it's 5 pages. It's how can we expect media to do the hard work that we're not willing to put in when they won't read 5 pages?
It's not that hard. Read it.
Okay, so let's have this conversation. He's talking about we're not having the conversation. Okay, are Cortez's goals, the Green New Deal, is it viable? I would argue no. The proposals could cost an estimated $51 to $93 trillion.
Ouch. Oh, good Lord.
This is the leftist tactic. Whine about a problem and don't give a solution because you don't want solutions. And by the way, if you don't believe us here, this is something we always try to push for more transparency. Here's the entire Vox video in about a minute because we're putting it on 8 times speed. You see where you find the bill. All right. There you go. Nothing. There's an overlay with 2 lines. Okay. Talking. News. Showing cable news. Bitching about cable news. Showing cable news. Tweets. Hey, cable news. Bitch about cable news. And now they mention the Green New Deal. Some kind of a Skype panelist. Okay. Headline, no bill. And now he's talking about a mayoral race. Here we go. Tactics, mix issues, cynicism, candidates, cable news. Now we have this Skype call again. He's pointing to some book, which is not the bill. And hold on a second. They're talking about something completely unrelated. Cable news. No bill. Still nothing. A diagram showing that it's partisan. Donald Trump tweet. There you go. The bill. Oh, it's gone. And now we're at cable news. Lighting a cigarette, which is really just a pen. And here we go. Complaining. And Skype guest again. And cable news. Bitching. Cable news. Bitching. Here's the point. Nothing is there.
That was even hard at 8 times.
Honestly, that is worse than I anticipated it being. Watching it at 8 times the speed. For people listening on the audio, that almost sounds nonsensical. It pretty much is. You know what? I'm not even going to get into a close. There's going to be another segment uploaded tomorrow where I'm going to simply read this bill in its entirety. Ooh. So search on YouTube if you're watching this in the archive, which you probably are unless you're watching this in the first 2 hours. And we'll see if anyone takes any interest and if it gets demonetized. I'm going to read the whole 5-page bill. That's it.